always adrenalated when I perform. I always have a certain amount of stage fright. It never goes away. But somebody said stage fright can be considered stage energy. And I love that concept. So it's like, I like it when you're a little zizzy in your performance and you're a little on edge. I find that people really love to put music into boxes when they hear things. But that's why I like to have what I call my digital campfire. And I immediately go on stage and say, I'm going to be playing some things that are a little difficult to see, and it's kind of dim in here. Why don't you all come move up closer to the stage so you can see what I'm going to be doing? Well, the audience gets up and moves towards the stage, and what they've done is they've committed themselves. They're committing to the performance. There's something really cool about expression and creativity, and there's something really cool about taking risks and doing things whether or not they exist. Stepping outside of genres, or stepping outside of other people's expectations about your work or your art, stepping outside of your own expectations. In our own way, we sort of pride ourselves on the fact that everything we do in front of an audience. You see us make the music. There is something in life about having an experience and you have it one time. I like to improvise freely, but I immediately try to improvise so that it is very, very, very quick composition. I really like things to use a lot of technology and yet still get a kind of an organic vibe from it. I've had two color phases. I had a green phase for about 4 years, and then for the last 4 years I've had an orange phase. If I go into a Walgreens and just walk the store, I'll find 10 objects that are made of day glow orange plastic that will glow under black light. There's something, I think, about saying I will only use plastic. And then if I say I will only use orange plastic, that really narrows it down. And then if I say I will only use day glow orange plastic, that then glows under black light, you know, it really narrows the field. So what has to happen? I've got to really be creative to try to make music out of it. Being a looper allows you to be a producer in real time. I can set up all the loops, and then for the last part of the piece, I'm just manipulating them and doing really interesting juxtapositions of things, taking things away, adding things, adding effects to things, and recontextualizing the sounds. I'm using 3 different kinds of looping technology. One is just what's called a stomp box pedal, and it has a lot of multiple effects in it, and it has very simple looping capabilities. I can make a loop, make it go backwards, make it go double speed or half speed. Then I have a very sophisticated box called the Looperlative LP1. I can send digital commands from my foot pedals to software that exists inside the 1-unit rack space hardware gear that I have. I can synchronize several different tracks rhythmically, and then I can change the master track so that the next thing that I play is a very long ambient loop that doesn't have any synchronization. I can group tracks, I can fade them in, I can fade them out. I can say I want this loop divided into 8 segments, and then every time I hit a button, whatever I'm doing in real time will slice into the track. I use that one a lot. So this little thing I'm holding here, a little hard to see, it's a brush for suede shoes, but in the hands of unsavory people, it can also be a musical instrument. One of the things, I describe myself as a found sound live looping artist. As soon as I was able to clone myself, I could make a really great rhythm section. I suddenly began to realize that there were what I call micro sounds. Because of microphones and contact microphones, you can take very, very little things that have really big sounds up close, and you can put that mic right on it, and then you can crank the volume. Blink was just, I did this thing of like taking really long pictures of myself holding as still as I could for a really long time, and then every occasionally going like that. And then I blew them up and I did different angles and everything, and the whole thing is just a big face on the screen and mostly of an eye. I did some manipulations of it, like a fisheye lens, and so I put it over the eye so when it blinks, my face looks like a frog. You know, it doesn't, or an alien, it doesn't look human at all, but it's very obviously, whatever this creature is, it's blinking. Years and years and years ago, I discovered these things called whirligigs, which are any corrugated tube of any size. If you put air through it, it will make a whistling sound. And if you put more air through it, a greater volume of air, it will go up through the harmonic series. And so what I do is I collected them to a scale, and basically, you know, if the tube is is 2 feet long, and you make another tube that's exactly 1 foot long, it's going to be exactly 1 octave higher. In playing that piece, the other thing is it's really cool because it's really visceral. You know, you really see the instruments going, and you have to go real fast to get the really super high sounds, and you have to. I play 3 of them, so you're juggling them, putting one under your arm as you play the other. So, and that's kind of like. It's a little scary to do that piece because it's so easy to screw up on it, but I kind of like that too. It gives it a little bit of a edge. interested in all the technology that it basically is taking any kind of visual or audio phenomena and looping it and making it be repetitive, and then using that as a compositional tool. That cyclical approach that African music has, where lots and lots of people play and everybody's playing parts that interweave and slowly morph. That was really fascinating to me, especially as it dovetailed into people like Steve Reich and Philip Glass and a lot of the early electronic music, which was sequenced. So when live looping came along finally and became affordable, which was in the mid-90s, I was just boom. All of my life I've been a xenophile. I've really been interested in anything that's new or different or strange or weird, or I'm attracted to the fringes of music. So as I was learning more and more about musical treasures around the globe, I was finding out really unusual vocal techniques in Papua New Guinea and trying to learn how to play instruments from around the world. All I listened to was avant-garde jazz and really experimental early electronic music for about 4 or 5 years. And then the Sex Pistols hit and Elvis Costello came out, and those 2 records sort of changed my life, because all of a sudden it was like, wow, rock and roll is scary again and it's subversive. And I've always sort of had a subversive bent in myself. I think I just look at the world as a potential source of timbre. This is a teapot. But no, with a little bit of water in it, it's a really cool metallic bending water gong. people who I consider to be geniuses invented new visual technology which is oriented towards looping. One is Tim Thompson, invented a thing called Loopy Cam. And so in 3 of the pieces, there's real-time looping visuals that are going on, being controlled by Tim and projected in back. They're really cool algorithms where it makes it look like it just dissolves into dust and floats across the screen and then reconstitutes. I mean, it looks like a transporter from Star Trek. And then David Tristram has a tablet. If you draw something, the drawing will animate according to a tempo that you tap in. And what he's drawing, that artistry comes immediately onto the screen. It's very human. We did it in such a way so that he would project bubbles on my face at one point when I was doing a piece for blowing bubbles. We had a slow drip in our sink at one point, and it was going bloop, 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 bloop. And you could hear pitches depending on how big the bubble was. A bubble, bloop, if it pops, it has this little melodic thing that happens. So that fascinates me. The gear I use has the ability to record things and then record them at half speed or quarter speed or double speed or whatever. So I can manipulate the speed of the loop and the octave of the loop. By hitting my foot pedals, I've got a chromatic control over the loop. I can play the loop as if it were a melodic instrument. Bubbles just sound great when they're sped up and when they're slowed down and when they're juxtaposed and when they're cut up. Another quote I love is from John Cage. He said that music really is organized sound. And I really like that concept because the bubble piece, as an example, it's not a song. It's, you know, you don't go away humming it or something. You know, it's never going to make the top 40. I've spent a lot of time with frisbees. I gotta say, you know, there's a lot there. You can do a lot. You can do a very sophisticated rhythm track with 5 frisbees because I can loop myself and clone myself extremely quickly. I can take a frisbee and play it, and it's a bass drum, and then I can immediately put a pitch shifter on it, and now it's a tom-tom, and I can put a necklace of beads into it and drop it, and suddenly it sounds as if it's sort of an electronic hand clap. So really quickly, I can take 5 frisbees and I've got a really credible drum sound. You can make noise sounds and have a loop that's going, and then I can sing an Indian rag in falsetto. And as I'm doing that, I'm hitting buttons, and every time I hit a button, it takes a slice of that, and after a while it starts going just from the slices being put together. There's one piece that I play on just a water bottle, and that by having my fingers over the top of it, I can vary the pitch of it, and I can actually reproduce that pitch every time. So I sort of made a piece, and I've noticed that every time I ever play that bottle, I always play the same piece. So I think it's more like the composition emerged from it.
Many years ago, I learned a technique that the Ituri pygmies use in Central Africa, where you do bottle blowing and singing as a combined technique. So anyway, I called this tune Pygmies on the Playa for all my really creative people who go to Burning Man.
It's a very exciting time to be alive. I think there are just as many creative people now as there ever have been. I think there are way more tools than there used to be. If you think about what you could do in 1975 compared to what you can do now with a laptop computer that costs $500, you know, it's pretty amazing. I have access to an amazing amount of ways of creating music and artistry. You have to give yourself permission to love what you're doing. I think it's cool to let yourself feel super passionate about something, even if you're the only person that you know who feels super passionate about it, because I think good things come from it.